Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vic here, back with another Madden 21 video. In today's episode, we're going to be rebuilding the Philadelphia Eagles with EDP as their coach. EDP445. If you don't know who that is, then you got some real issues. EDP445 is an absolute legend.
The fuck you doing here, nigga? Identify yourself. Who the fuck are you?
And anyways, guys, this team is going to be, I think, kind of okay to rebuild. Nothing insane. Hopefully we can bring EDP445, the legendary Super Bowl that he's been dying for, the second Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's jump into this team. And we have Carson Wentz here at quarterback. And we also have Miles Sanders at running back. And we have Alshon Jeffrey. Might trade him, I don't know. Deshaun Jackson, pretty old, so I'll probably trade him. Zach Ertz, Lane Johnson. Brandon Brooks should be there at right guard, but there's Jason Kelsey and Jason Peters as well. Defensively, linebackers suck, but D-line is absolutely amazing. Safeties kind of suck as well. And defensive backs are pretty good, especially with Darius Slay. Darius Slayton in my, I think it's, Wheel of Franchise. I don't know why on that, but Darius Slayton is a monster. Darius Slay just reminds me of that. Kind of similar names.
Do you see me fucking laughing, my nigga? I ain't fucking laughing.
But anyways, guys, that's the overlook of the team. So apart from that, guys, it is time to jump and do some free agency. And like EDP, he would be the real one. He wouldn't care about, all of the, backstory or drama that they have to bring to the team. He wants some good players. We're going to bring Tony Jefferson, maybe even Gerald McCoy. But Earl Thomas and Tony Jefferson is now on the team.
What's up with it, motherfucker?
So let's jump into trades. Here we are with the first trade, as we're trading Alshon Jeffrey and Malik Jackson for a first, and a sixth from the San Francisco 49ers. Now we are trading our free safety and our strong safety, who are now second strings, and a 5th round pick for the number 1 projected pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the overlook of the team after the trades, as I'm starting Jalen Reagor now, and Brandon Brooks is here on the team now. I just had to update it. But Jalen Hurts is here. EDP wasn't too happy about that pick. But either way, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I don't plan to start him ever, but Jalen Reagor is here as well, so he's going to be our starting receiver. And defensively, Earl Thomas and Tony Jefferson are here. Our linebackers are still trash, but I think this defense can still perform to a pretty moderate level. So apart from that, guys, it is time to jump into the midseason mark. And here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a loss to the Cowboys. EDP would not be too happy about that one.
Do me a favor. Shut the fuck up.
But we are third in the division, as we are 3-4-1, as the Giants are leading the division. Yeah, that's funny. But we have players to resign, such as Nicole Roby Coleman. I can't pronounce that. But either way, we're not going to resign him. Jason Peters is here as well. We can't resign him because of his age. And everyone else here I actually don't want. These players are terrible. Maybe Earl Thomas and Tony Jefferson, depending on how they regress at the end of the season. But apart from that, boys, it is time to jump into the playoffs. And here we are at the playoffs, coming off a loss to the Washington football team. Yeah, that's funny as well, as we finished 7-8-1, third in the division, as the Cowboys dominate the division, as Carson Wentz has a pretty good season in yards, 17th of best offense, 9th of best defense. Carson Wentz, 4,100 yards, 28 TDs, and 10 interceptions. Miles Sanders, 10 TDs and 1,000 yards. Receiving-wise, Jalen Reagor, 1,100 yards, 8 TDs. Great year for him. And defensively, Earl Thomas with the most tackles on team. Most tackles for a loss goes to 12 for Fletcher Cox. Most sacks is 10 for Fletcher Cox. Most interceptions is 4 for Darius Slay. Most safeties is 0. And defensive touchdowns, 1 for Darius Slay and 1 for Earl Thomas. So apart from that, guys, I would say that it's time to jump into the offseason. And here we are in the offseason, as the Baltimore Ravens beat the Chicago Bears in the Super Bowl. Earl Thomas's previous team, so that's pretty sad for him. But everyone else here, I just don't want to sign. I don't need to sign. Nathan yeah, I don't want to resign you. I don't think you'll ever progress into being anything at all during this rebuild. So I'm going to look into our roster real quick, actually, and look who's taking up all of our cap because we don't really have a lot of money. And Brandon Graham, we're probably going to have to trade. He's 33, and he takes up the most cap on the team. Deshaun Jackson as well. Earl Thomas takes up a lot of cap. Yeah, I'm probably going to trade Deshaun Jackson and Brandon Graham just because they take up so much cap. And we don't have any team right now. So Jalen Reagor now has superstar development after that. And his buddy Deshaun Jackson over here has regressed very, very hard. So we're definitely going to trade Deshaun Jackson. And Brandon Graham, we're going to trade him too. We just can't have him on the team. Darius Slay has Superstar X Factor now with Zone Hawk, 90 overall with Deep Route KO and Acrobat. Earl Thomas is back up to Superstar Development now with Deep in KO and Pick Artist. And the outside linebackers did get dev-ups, but I don't plan to re-sign them. And I don't think I can re-sign Earl Thomas and Tony Jefferson either just because we don't have any money. So I'm going to try to do that real quick to see if we can, but let's get into it. And I'm trading Deshaun Jackson and Brandon Graham and a third for a first round pick from the Cincinnati Bengals. And I still don't think we can re-sign Earl Thomas or Tony Jefferson, so that's pretty disappointing. We don't have any money in free agency, so let's jump into the draft. Here we are in the draft, drafting a wide receiver, Benjamin Locke, 76 overall, hidden development, 22 years old. Pretty great player, in my opinion, and a great pick. Next, we're picking up an outside linebacker, 76 overall, hidden development. He's 21 years old, so that's pretty good as well. Next, we're picking up another wide receiver, 75 overall, 22 years old, and he's also a speed demon, 97 speed. He's just like Deshaun Jackson, but younger and the same overall, so he's perfect. Next, we're picking up another outside linebacker, 75 overall, hidden development. This draft has been going great for us in terms of development traits. And this is what the team looks like after the draft, as the right side of our line is really great. Left side is whatever. We didn't really do anything about that. But receivers, we have definitely got that locked down. Outside linebackers are locked down as well. The safeties, we lost Tony Jefferson and Earl Thomas to free agency because we just couldn't re-sign them. We still had to take cap penalties and stuff like that from Brandon Graham and Deshaun Jackson. So apart from that, let's jump into the midseason mark. Now here we are at the midseason mark as we're coming off a bye week, and we are 5-2. We better be at the top of the division. We are above the 4-3 New York Giants. We have players to re-sign such as Jason Kelce and Zach Ertz, so we're going to definitely want to keep them around, as Jason Kelce is going to want a big contract and he deserves it, and hopefully he can stay around for the entire rebuild, and he wants more money. Zach Ertz is here, and I'm going to give him a big contract too in just a second. But I'm going to look at Dallas Goedert. And Dallas Goedert, there isn't too much of a difference between their money-wise, but there is a big difference in their overall. So I'm going to re-sign Zach Ertz, skip Dallas Goedert. And Avonte Maddox is here, and we're going to definitely re-sign him. And he does stay with the team. Derek Barnett's, I'll definitely re-sign him as well. He wants a big contract. That's a lot bigger than I thought for his overall. But he stays with the team. And apart from that, guys, everything here looks pretty good. This right tackle, I don't know what he's doing here, but everything else looks good. I'll re-sign Jason Kelce at the end of the season. So apart from that, boys, it is time to jump into the playoffs. And here we are in the playoffs with a first-round bye coming off a win to the football team. And we are 10-6, top of the division, once again with the first-round bye. And Carson Wentz had an amazing season, 11th best offense, and the second worst defense in the NFL. I don't know how that works, but Carson Wentz, 4,400 yards, 35 TDs, and only 4 interceptions. Miles Sanders, 7 TDs and 1,000 yards. Will Whitley, just barely over 1,000 yards and 4 TDs. And Jalen Reagor, just short 4 yards of 1,000 yards. Avonte Maddox, the most tackles on the team. Tackles for a loss for Derek Barnett. Sacks, Fletcher Cox. Interceptions, 3 for Avonte Maddox. And safeties is 1 for Fletcher Cox. And defensive touchdowns is 0. So overall, the defensive stats didn't even look that bad. Fletcher Cox had a lot of sacks and pretty good amount of tackles for a loss. So I don't see why we were the second worst defense in the league, but probably because of tackles. But we are here to face a divisional rival, the New York Giants, as we are 10-6 and they are 9-7. So I'm actually going to hop into this one to see if we can beat the New York Giants in the divisional round. So apart from that, guys, let's just jump straight into it. And here we are as the score is 10-7 against the New York Giants in the third quarter. Now it is 14-10 entering the fourth quarter, as it is still 14-10 and 13-14 now. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Very close, down to the wire game. 2 minutes left in the game. 21-14 against the Philadelphia Eagles. What can we do to win it? I'm just going to keep simulating. Can we do it? I'm going to have to hop in. Yep. And we end up losing. Darius Slayton on the Giants ends up destroying us. We have Darius Slay, but they have Darius Slayton. You never know, boys. We lost 27-21 in overtime. And here we are after the playoffs, and the Lions lose in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. So the Lions better be happy they at least made it to the Super Bowl. But Jason Kelce is here, 91 overall, superstar development center. I really want him to stay for the remainder of the rebuild. Hopefully he doesn't retire, but he does resign. Everyone else here I do not have an interest for. So apart from that, boys, it is time to jump into the team and see if we have any other development upgrades. Offensively, Locke apparently has superstar development, and it looks like he had that to start with, and he has matchup nightmare, which is actually a pretty good ability, and everything else here looks the same to me. And defensively, it looks like our outside linebackers have star and superstar development. Manny Edwards, it looks like he's had that since the draft with no outsiders as his ability, and everyone else here looks the same to me. So apart from that, boys, I would say that it's time to jump into free agency. Somehow we still don't have cap, as we are negative $5 million in cap. I guess our O-line is consuming most of the cap. So let's jump into the draft. And for our first pick, we're picking up another outside linebacker that I'm probably going to move to inside linebacker because he is a run stopper. Hidden development, 75 overall. Next, we're picking up a strong safety, 73 overall. Only normal development, sadly, but I think he'll be a pretty good fit for this team. And this is what the team looks like after the draft, as offensively we didn't really do much, but defensively we did get that linebacker, and I'm going to move him up to middle linebacker as his overall only goes down by 3, okay? So it's not a big deal, but let's jump into the midseason mark. I know I'm talking really fast, a little bit too fast for you guys sometimes, but we're coming off a loss to the Texans as we are 3-4, third in the division, and we have to re-sign big players such as Fletcher Cox, 97 overall, superstar X Factor, 31 years old. Want to keep him for the remainder of the rebuild, of course, and I'm going to sign him to this huge deal, about $20 million per year, and he re-signs. Miles Sanders is here, 86 overall, star development. I'm going to want to keep him around, and he re-signs. Javon Hargrave is here as well, and I think I'll just keep him for the rest of the rebuild. He'll probably go below an 80, but it's okay, and he does not resign, so I guess I'll have to do that at the end of the season. But everyone else here I don't really have an interest for. Maybe our left tackle, how much does he want? Too much for his overall, yeah. I'm not going to resign that left tackle, probably just going to pick one up in the draft. But this left guard, no, I don't want him either. So apart from that, boys, I'd say that it is time to jump into the playoffs. Now here we are in the playoffs as we're coming off a loss to the Cowboys as we didn't make the playoffs, finishing at 6-10. What? That makes no sense. Carson Wentz didn't do too bad, 24th best offense and 3rd best defense. It seems like whenever our offense does good, our defense does terrible, and vice versa. But Carson Wentz didn't do amazing touchdowns. Miles Sanders was terrible this year. Jalen Reagor had a pretty good year. And defensively, Avonte Maddox with the most tackles on the team. We aren't getting any tackles. Tackles for a loss goes to Javon Hargrave. Sacks goes to Fletcher Cox. Interceptions, 2 for Darius Slay. And safeties is 1 for Javon Hargrave, and defensive touchdowns is 1 for Darius Slay. So apart from that, guys, I would say it's time to jump into the offseason. And here we are in the offseason as the Seattle Seahawks beat the Indianapolis Colts in the Super Bowl, and Javon Hargrave needs to be re-signed, and I think I will re-sign him as he only regressed only 1 overall. And I want him for this final season that we're about to jump into. So he resigns, and everyone else here I do not have an interest for. So, yeah, I don't really need anyone else here. But apart from that, boys, it is time to jump into free agency. And here we are after free agency, as nothing really happened much on the offense. And defensively, we got Bobby Wagner and Devin McCourty at free safety. So very, very big pickups. Very, very nice to see as they will be big additions to this defense, as he has momentum shift, which isn't even that great unless you're playing Superstar KO. That is super overpowered, but apart from that, guys, it is time to jump into the draft. Here we are in the draft, picking up a defensive tackle, and I'm probably going to move him to the outside edge. 75 overall, normal development. Next, we're picking up a defensive back, 72 overall, hidden development. I'm probably going to move him in the slot, as he is an archetype as a slot. And this is the team after the draft, as offensively we didn't really do too much, as Jason Kelce did retire, and that really, really upsets me. But defensively, this is what the team looks like, as we have our new defensive back, and that's really about it. So apart from that, guys, I would say that it's time to jump into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a win to the Buffalo Bills, as we are second in the division below the 5-3 New York Giants, as we have players to resign such as Jalen Reagor, Darius Slay, but I don't need to resign them because it is the final season. So apart from that, guys, let's get into the playoffs. And here we are in the playoffs, as we are in the wild card here to face the 10-6 Atlanta Falcons, as we are 11-5 above the New York Giants. And Carson Wentz overall had a pretty good season again. 14th best offense and second best defense. Carson Wentz, 4,100 yards, 32 TDs, 8 interceptions, and rushing wise, Miles Sanders, 7 touchdowns and 1,100 yards. All right. Benjamin Locke did pretty good. And defensively, Bobby Wagner with the most tackles on the team. Most tackles for a loss is Derek Barnett. Most sacks is Fletcher Cox. And most interceptions is 3 for Bobby Wagner. Most safeties is 0. Defensive touchdowns is 0. So apart from that, guys, I would say that it's time that we jump into the game against the Atlanta Falcons. So let's see if we can actually beat them in the divisional round of the playoffs, not the wild card. But here we are in the divisional round of the playoffs. I know it's kind of weird that we start in the divisional round, but I just simulated the wild card to start out with. But we are here as the score is 31-16 against the Atlanta Falcons. And that's going to be the game, actually. 31-23 is your final score, as we fail in the final season in the divisional round, as we don't even make it to an NFC championship. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm really sorry that we didn't even, EDP and myself didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. I know if EDP had won the Super Bowl, he definitely would have been happy. And he also would have been, actually made the Super Bowl, because EDP is an absolute legend. But anyways, guys, once again, that's going to do it for this episode. And I thank you all for watching. And apart from that, guys, I will see you guys in the next one.